So as was revealed recently today that Elon Musk is not head of Doge, there's an awful lot of fallout coming from this revelation. I want to go over what's going on, what Donald Trump is saying, and also what you're saying. Let's just jump right in. So this is the headlines. Elon Musk is Doge's front man, but he doesn't actually work there, as if that makes any sense, right? Not even Doge employees know who's legally running Doge. And the question I had when I was looking at this stuff was like, okay, so are they going to claim that Skynet slash the AI is already running the show? Maybe. You guys are already calling this stuff out as well. This was Cody. Cody says this will either be the biggest scandal in U.S. history or it will be the end of U.S. history. And I can't tell which yet. Yikes. Wow. I'm right there with you, Cody. Jeb says nobody's in charge, so no one is to blame. How clever. Actually, Donald Trump was asked about this, who's in charge of Doge. Have a listen to his answer.
In a court filing, the White House said that Elon Musk is not a Doge employee and has no authority to make decisions. Can you clarify for us today
well, Elon
what his
Musk,
exact role is there?
Yeah. Elon is, to me, a patriot. So, you could call him an employee, you could call him a consultant, you could call him whatever you want. But he's a patriot. I mean, look at the kind of things I just said. Just write it down, just in case that question got asked, right? And which I'm surprised it took so long, actually. But you know what? Ukraine's a bigger deal because people are dying by the thousands a week, thousands. But look at this, from 90 to 99.
So as you can see, that was clearly a dodge over at Doge. They even had a prepared statement on how to dodge the question. And then he's going on and on about World War III and blah, blah, blah. Guys, and Musk is a patriot. And guys, you can see right through this stuff. I want to read some of your comments because it's important to know that you're not alone when you see this crazy clown show happening. This is from Sharky. Sharky says, sounds like a legal dodge, to be honest. He's still acting as head, has the authority, and does all the interviews at Doge boss, as the Doge boss, right? They definitely need to subpoena him and have him say this up front and make the legal Doge head also have to answer for all the decisions they are making, right? Ingrid says, Trump and Musk are playing a shell game with legality. And then you got E3 Evil, I guess, saying they probably say Musk isn't head of Doge to divert legal issues. Again, you guys can see this stuff. E. Schwartz says, first thought, Trump is somehow, quote, legally, whatever that even means, in control of Doge because he can escape all accountability, right? Astro says, I assume they/he are trying to isolate himself from normal limits of power and legal requirements and culpability of an official agent of the government. They want his position to be confusing to slow down those taking action against him or know that he can or cannot legally do. You also have MB. MB says it's to protect Musk from future legal action and potentially being called to testify in future congressional hearings. No one appears to be in charge of Doge. Perhaps someone from the deep state, LOL, right? I still think it's Skynet myself, but Bannon hates Musk because he's taking the limelight away from him. You also got this. Mistress says they have to officially keep Musk off the books because he had an official government job title. He'd have to do an actual background check and disclose finances and foreign contacts, follow Federal Records Act, and use secure systems to communicate. And they can be FOIAD, Freedom of Information Act, and archived. He doesn't want any of that legal liability. Very good point. And also have Roger saying if he's not legally the head of it, why is he granted access to all this sensitive information, right? And there's all these questions, and that's why I'm reading through your comments because I want you guys to see that, hey, if you have concerns about the world, the country, you're in the right place. We have some sanity here and also have some critical thinking skills to see through the smoke and mirrors that Trump and Musk try to play every day. If you go over to the website, this is actually kind of interesting. If you want to look at the Doge website and you hit the About section, and then you go to like the executive order that established Doge, this is from the White House, they'll say that it's an agency head is in charge of this thing, and they refer to it as an administrator, or you could also call it the USDS administrator. But it doesn't really name who the administrator is. And then I guess reporters were asking the White House DOJ attorney. It says For the record, there's a couple reporters here asked the DOJ attorney in court the other day who Doge administrator was, and he said he didn't know, right? They're just pretending not. And I want to put this on top with another part, was an important part of the story, is when Elon Musk and his Doge hacker team started going to different agencies, it was reported that they would give their first name, but not their last name. And I guess that was by design. They were trying to hide the identity of people, right? It's all shady. Because you understand this, like when you have in a meeting, this kind of stuff, you would normally identify yourself like, I am, this is my name, this is my position at, said agency or whatever. It's kind of funny because it's the stuff that you would just normally do in normal business practices because it's just like standard operating procedures. And then when the Doge team wouldn't do these things, people were like, who the F are these people, right? And this is something that they've been doing all along. And it's just a lot of improper, illegal, weird times of day, multiple communications that are conflicting sometimes. This is what they're up to. Here's more. This is actually from Wire. There's some interesting points on it. It says here, rather than serving as a Doge administrator or employee of Doge at all, Fisher said Musk's role as a senior advisor, I guess that's what you would call him, to the president with, quote, no greater authority than other senior White House advisors. This could make Musk's authority and standing at USDS legally murky. And USDS was the prior version of Doge. Doge is what it is now, especially as numerous lawsuits embroil the organization's activities, right? So again, a way to shield the lawsuits. And then they were asking around over at the prior USDS employees, and a lot of these employees have been fired actually, like who's in charge, and they don't know. This is what I'm saying. It's a lot of chaos, but I think it's on purpose. Now, they want you to celebrate the chaos and the cuts. Have a listen to this.
Stephen, I don't think anyone...
Then why are you not celebrating these cuts? If you agree there is waste, if you agree there is abuse, if you agree there is corruption, why are you not celebrating the cuts, the reforms that are being instituted? Every day that no action is taken, the entire
Stephen,
salaries of American workers that are taxed disappear forever.
Stephen, let's calm down.
This is
we're not having a debate.
There's no reason
about whether there are places.
You are clearly trying to debate me, and I will be as excited as I want to be about the fact that we are saving Americans billions of dollars, that we are ending the theft and waste and grift and corruption, that we are stopping American taxpayer dollars from subsidizing a rogue federal bureaucracy that has been relentlessly weaponized against the American people.
Okay,
you
Stephen,
may not care about
I'm
this
not
issue.
Talking about
your colleagues may not
there's
care about
not
this
an
issue,
area
but we care
to
about this
cut in
issue. The
government. I
American
understand
people
that,
care about
Stephen.
this issue.
They also care about privacy.
And the American
so let me
public
ask you about
overwhelmingly.
that.
So that was Stephen Miller saying you should be celebrating. It's kind of like that person who takes your job, beats you down, steals all your food, steals all your money, and say you should be happy that we're stealing your money. That's sort of what it feels like to me. Actually, guys, I went over to the Doge website, and there's something I want to point out, and there's some key language in here, and if you want to look at it, you can. It's got a list a whole bunch of stuff. A lot of it is vague, to be perfectly frank, but there's a key line here that says, and I'll read it. It says, we are working to upload all of this data in a digestible and fully transparent manner with clear assumptions consistent with applicable rules and regulations. That's the part that got me right there, was the clear assumptions. So because when I was reading through this stuff, I mean, any reasonable person would be like, this is incomplete. I don't know what exactly you're talking about. It's not the full story. And normally, and this is a couple things I want to point out, because people always say, like, as Stephen Miller's like, oh, aren't you celebrating cuts? Aren't you so happy? Let's say, for example, I want to do this right way. I want to, make cuts, whatever programs, or I want to, question is there fraud or waste. I would, one, get all the materials documented. Where's the money going? Who received the money? What is the program exactly? They kind of show sort of vague things of it, and they'll just have this sort of broad categories, and it also has broad dates. So when you look at this stuff, it'll be like over, a 5-year period, 10-year period. So it's hard to say like exactly how much money went and where. Also, if you were to go to this stuff, you'd actually want to ask the people who, got the money, distributed the money, etc., and show evidence and receipts that way. Like, meaning that this would actually be quite a long process. And then for what Doge, their own language is they're making assumptions, basically. So because it takes so much time to go through this stuff. And then also you would want to bring in accountants, right? Not hacker people. So there's that. On top of that, they're bombarding us with all sorts of crazy changes and announcements every single day. That's why I'm trying to show you guys as much as I possibly can so you have abreast of what's happening. But understand that I think that first headline essentially where Doge is like who's the head. They're trying to be able to make all of these changes and then have no one that you can sue. The way that I was thinking about it is it's kind of like, let's say a store cheats you and double charges you on something, or something of that nature, and you go to the employee and you say, hey, you double charged me, you cheated me or something, and they're like, oh well, you should talk to the manager, and then you'll say, okay, so let me talk to the manager, and they're like, well, the manager's on vacation. And you're like, okay, so when's the manager going to come back? And then the employee's like, I don't know. They send out an email that they're on vacation, and then like you'll keep checking with the company, and then you'll find out that there's no manager. And so that's kind of what I feel like is going on here, is they're trying to evade as long as they can. This may be where they get them, and Musk and Trump's is on some sort of technicality like this, on that his position was always in question, and who's giving the orders, etc. Already though, I'll tell you kind of what they're talking about today is more tariffs, 25% all around, right? So it says tariffs on autos will be set around 25%, but I think it's gonna be more than just autos. On top of that, they're talking about cutting, I think these are FHA loans actually. So federal mortgage insurer to lay off nearly half of the workforce. They want to get rid of 40% of the people. Basically, they're just figuring out ways to give billionaires their tax cuts, and siphon the money to their sovereign wealth funds, so Musk can do those stupid robots and stuff like that, and cutting a lot of things that help regular people. On top of that, guys, there's a lot. The U.S. Postmaster, I guess he's stepping down. I think that the Trump and the Musk people want to privatize the post office. If we had to take bets on that, I think that's kind of where that's going. But we'll see. And how would Musk benefit from that? And again, these are huge conflicts of interest. He would just make every USPS car a Tesla, and he could save his company that way. Kennedy's now, I know this like every one of these stories would be like a video in itself, but I'm just trying to give you an overview. There's so much. Kennedy gave his first speech. He'll be making a whole bunch of cuts to your health, this kind of things. And then the way that they distract you is talk about like nonsense World War III stuff. Have a listen to this.
Bad statements, but he's grossly incompetent, and I think everyone knew that. This is something that should have never happened, would have never happened. And I used to discuss it with Putin. President Putin and I would talk about Ukraine, and it was the apple of his eye, I will tell you that. But there was never a chance of him going in. And I told him, you better not go in, don't go in, don't go in. And he understood that. He understood it fully. But I'm only interested, I want to see if I can save maybe millions of lives. This could even end up in a World War III. I mean, to be honest with you, you've been hearing now Europe is saying, well, I think we're going to go in and we're going to go. All of a sudden, you're going to end up in World War III over something that should have never happened. And, it's a very sad situation. Yeah, please.
So top of all the crazy stuff going on internally, Trump's going on and on about, oh, you got to, stick with me and believe me because we're going to go World War III if you don't. I guess the USA and Russia are getting closer together in ties. We're reestablishing relationships. Trump is, I guess, calling for a election in Ukraine. And we've seen this game before. For those of you who followed, Ukraine stuff, actually, I had a student from Ukraine way back in like 2000. I want to say 2003, 2004. It's a long time ago. And it was back, Yushchenko was the deal back then. But basically, it looks like that if Trump wants to get close to Putin and Russia and U.S. Get close together, and then Putin and the team over there will try to install a pro-Putin, political people, right? And try to take over the country that way. And then Trump will not call on any of that stuff. So I think that's probably where this is going. If you're curious, they'll probably go a ceasefire. Russia gets the current land, or more than Ukraine has, and then they'll try to install a pro-Putin stuff. And that's kind of what the game plan is for Germany or lots of places. And Musk fits in this because he puts out social media stuff to try to promote, pro-Russian candidates. It's easy to see when you're watching, and I'm just telling you guys what's going on. And also too, I make jokes about this stuff a lot, but when you let it sink in, I'll be honest with you, it is pretty disturbing, and I just, it is what it is. So there's that. On top of that, the states were suing Musk DOGE to like remove their power. The basic ruling from the judge. So at the moment, the judge is not stopping DOGE. Just be clear on that, they're not. But what it sounds like from the judge, the basic ruling is, yes, all of these things that DOGE doing seems pretty scary, looks pretty sketchy, but you have to really clearly identify where there's actual harm, opposed to like going for just scary feelings or pre-harm, I guess you could call it. And I was thinking about this. It reminded me of the movie. I was talking about movies because it's it's the way I think about the world. If you remember the Tom Cruise movie Minority Report, and the basic idea was that you arrest people for pre-crimes if you can see something happening. It's like in some situations, in the Doe situation with the Musk stuff, you can tell they're doing a bunch of shady stuff. But the problem is like just the way our system works is like, if someone's, preparing to rob a bank and they got the, the bank sacks ready, to steal the money, and they got the lock pick and they're putting the team together, and you're like standing right in front of the bank. I mean, you probably should stop them, right? But I get the point of view of like, well, let them take the money, then we arrest them. And then I feel like that's kind of where we are. We'll see, because I don't want you guys banning on hope, because you could argue there's so many things that they're breaking the law already. So for example, and I use the example of the bank heist, should you let them take the money, then arrest them? Already they're getting sued. This just came down today of like, hey, they're breaking privacy laws, right? The way that they're handling all of our data. Normally when you have people at the IRS and you hire these kind of people, you have to go through several training, etc. And you can sue them on that. So at the moment, it seems like, yeah, hit them on privacy, hit Musk on like, what's your position, hit them on clearances. There's any number of things that you could go with, right? Conflicts of interest, that kind of stuff. But at the moment, that one case was the judge said, hey, you gotta get an actual, harm that you can show that, hey, they stole money from X person or whatever. And then you can get them that way. But even before that, there's lots of other choices and ways that you could go through the courts. So just want to let you guys know what's going on. Honestly, it is pretty awful. But just know that if I can see it, if you can see it, and everyone else in the community can see it, there are definitely a lot of people out there that are paying attention, and there will be pushback against them from taking over everything. And ultimately, I think the way this is going to play out with the Musks and the Trumps, as I told you guys before, they're a bunch of greedy individuals, and ultimately they're going to backstab each other. That's how. There's no way they're going to stay consolidated, and there's going to be one person that cracks, right, and then eventually spill all the beans and turn everyone else in. It'll be like that, and then it'll be like a rush to confess first kind of thing. So that's my thoughts on it, and I'll catch you on the next video.